Hi everyone, welcome back to Grow Roots. This is Shannon, and today I am going to be taking you on a front yard garden tour for February 2024. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time coming to my channel, Grow Roots, please know I film monthly front and backyard garden tours at my home in North Texas, Zone 8B, formerly Zone 8A, and I film garden tours every single month for both my front and my backyard. I think many of you have told me that you enjoyed watching my garden tours, and many of you had said, I am a garden channel that I'm not huge. I have a small home, fairly small home in North Texas, in a suburban area north of Dallas, Texas, and I am very frugal and I have limited space as well. So I have limited funds, limited space, and it's just kind of refreshing for some of you to understand what you can do in your limited space with limited funds as well. So I hope that inspires you. So please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. 2024 is going to be an amazing year in the garden. I am so excited for it. So here we go. All right. So first off, I have over here a 3-tier planter that I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace for $10. I absolutely love it. I got it last year. New to January is my little goose. I'm not exactly sure where to put him, but the kids absolutely love it, and so I have to keep it somewhere in my garden. They say hi to it every morning. And in my 3-tier planter, I basically have some, a variety of different pansies, and they're doing great. Interestingly enough, this is Dusty Miller. That is a cutting from some Dusty Miller over there. And I just thought, oh, it will add some color and let's see how long it lasts. And it's been there like a week and it actually looks okay. At least from a distance, you can't tell that it's a cutting and it's kind of dead. But yeah, and so on the bottom, I've got some dianthus growing and starting to flower, as well as a yellow pansy and some white dianthus. And I've got some pine cones still from winter mixed in there. And at the bottom, I have some Dusty Miller cuttings. Again, they're probably dead. I don't think it will root there in this kind of cold, but I have some hyacinth that is growing and some tulips. This one is getting pretty tall, ready to bloom, so that's super fun. I have variegated liriope here, and I have a hedge of boxwoods there as well. The boxwoods did take a little bit of damage. We had a period of cold of 90 hours plus below freezing. We got down to about 8 degrees Fahrenheit with a wind chill. That was really cold. So anyway, a lot of the boxwoods sustained damage. This one's probably the worst. The reason is because we had a very, very warm December, so I had a lot of new growth on my boxwoods, and all of that new growth just kind of fried in the ice blast, the polar vortex. Here I have a Confederate star jasmine vine trying to climb an espalier that I made last year. The vine has died, which happens to me every single year with Confederate star jasmine, but you can see the reason is the vine splits down at the bottom in severe cold. And so I'm gonna come in here and trim this down and see if I can get it going again. All right, so on to the most spectacular part of my yard. My favorite part of my yard right now are these pansies. These are something matrix pansies that I purchased from Green Acres. They've actually been planted here since mid-October of 2023, as well as this Dusty Miller. I think it's just an absolutely gorgeous border. The blooms all died off in our polar vortex blast, but they came right back. The plant itself survived, so did the Dusty Miller, and they just look unbelievable. But here is what I have been waiting for, y'all. Look at these pink tulips. They are starting to bloom. and they are absolutely beautiful. I also have a couple of daffodils that are coming up as well. That is my first yellow daffodil bloom, but I have others that they're coming up, but they just haven't bloomed. And then these daffodils I picked up on clearance for $1 for, I think I picked up 2 packages of these. There's some in my backyard as well, and they're so cute. I didn't realize they were these teeny tiny little dainty daffodils that are beautiful. So they're starting to bloom, but just take a look at that view with the pink tulips. So tonight it's going to get down to 27 degrees. Even though we've had a very mild winter, I feel like we're having our last cold blast of the year with some pretty chilly temperatures tonight. And I'm a little bit worried about my tulip blooms. I have read that because they're coming up so early, and then I have read that the blooms will potentially, like, it'll damage the plant if it's in 27-degree weather. So I do have frost cloth. I am probably going to be covering these tonight to make sure they don't sustain any damage, because I want to continue to see these amazing blooms. So these pink tulips are from Sam's Club. It came from a package. I bought 2 packages of 50, and it totaled maybe $36 for both packages. So 100 of these pink mix tulips, and planted some of them. Most of them are planted back here, and then I have some that are planted in these planters right here. This is my Limelight Hydrangea Standard in this pot, and I'm getting ready to prune this because I want to keep that standard shape. And then I've got some tulips that are coming in here. In this container, I had a pink bandana lantana, and so I have cut it back. It may or may not come back for me, and it is all roots. I could barely put in these 2 tulips and 1 hyacinth in this pot. And I don't know if you can see, but the pot is crooked. Can you see that? The reason is because the roots came out from the bottom of this, and they started rooting down here into, like, in this crack. And I can't get this, I can't move the pot. I can't get it to move. My husband's gonna have to help me, and I'm gonna have to just cut that bottom and the roots out. I did not realize the lantana would be this way. That was 1 plant in this pot, which I thought was gonna be fine, but it was way too small, and the plant rooted in below it. So I'm gonna have to take care of that. Here, I started these in some pots, but I am going to plant these probably right here. I have some lemon ball sedum that is looking absolutely beautiful, and there's 2 of them there. And then they're just planted with some pansies and some annual dianthus. This is so pretty. I love the color of this one. Beautiful, beautiful. Again, they survived that polar blast that we had and came through it just fine. Down here, if you see, it has kind of, I pulled some of these had rooted down into the ground, so I pulled them and kind of sparsely planted the things, and this one absolutely took hold. It's already growing. So this is lemon ball sedum that's kind of growing in along this border, which I think is going to be fantastic. The other thing I wanted to point out is the May Night Salvia did not completely die back. That's what you're looking at here is May Night Salvia. There is another one right there. We've got more daffodils that are coming up. I have a dianthus that I grew from seed that I am still waiting to see the blooms on, and there are still no blooms on this plant. I'm a little disappointed. Back here, if you notice this plant right there, that is a Hot Trumpets salvia. It is a red salvia. Again, it did not completely die back, even in the polar vortex, and so it's coming back to life. Here, I have a daylily that is coming back. You can see it right there. and then another May Night Salvia, and another May Night Salvia there. And then this is a Salvia Greggi that is coming back really, really quickly. I also have a daylily back here. See if I can focus on it. There it is. That is a daylily, and it is coming back. I believe that's the daylily. I could be wrong. Actually, that might be another tulip that looks a little bit wonky. There is the daylily that's coming back right there. Okay, I am corrected. Coming over here, I've got kind of the same thing going on. I have another Salvia Greggi and another Hot Trumpets Salvia right there. I've got some May Night Salvia over here. I had May Night Salvia here and here, but that died off. I'm not sure exactly what happened with it. It was not love and life when I transplanted it, so it is okay, but I do have daffodils coming up there, so absolutely beautiful. So here is my Sunshine Ligustrum. So my Sunshine Ligustrum, I've said it so many times, but I love, love, love Sunshine Ligustrum. It's absolutely beautiful, and almost any time of year, it adds interest to the garden here in my zone 8B. Now, the polar vortex did, for me, create just a tiny bit of damage. I don't know if you can see some of these defoliated, but they're coming up with new blooms right now. Many other Sunshine Ligustrum in the area almost completely defoliated. If it was a newer plant, I noticed, if it was a newer planting, then it definitely went through some stress and it defoliated. But mine are fully established. I think these are 4 or 5 years old at this point. And so they came through the polar vortex amazingly well and just absolutely beautiful. They just absolutely shine in the sunlight and add a beautiful pop of yellow color when they are planted in full sun. So I highly recommend that plant. Over here, I have my garden sheep, Lambo, Love and Life. Here, I'll show you this first. This is my Vitex tree. I love, love, love it as well. It can be pretty vigorous for me. And so last year, goodness, what did it do last year? I trimmed it way back because it kind of tried to overtake this area. And then it just grew way tall for me again. So my plan to try to get this a little more upright and less like going all the way over here and going all the way over my plants, creating a little too much shade for me. I'm coming in pretty soon here and I'm going to be trimming off this branch and this branch. I want this main branch with the 3 main branches here. And I think it will look pretty severe when I do it, but I really kind of want to keep this Vitex in check, and it's just kind of overtaking the area, but it is absolutely stunning and beautiful. And probably in June I will be enjoying beautiful purple blooms. So really looking forward to that. Down here, one of the things I did last year, I really tried to step up my ground cover game, especially in this area because it can look so bare in the winter time. So I planted Burgundy Glow Ajuga, and I thought it would be evergreen here in my zone, which, I mean, I guess you could call this evergreen, but you can see that it clearly struggled with life. And I think the polar vortex is what did it, and those were zone 7 temperatures, so I guess I can understand and cut it a little bit of slack. But I did expect a better performance from my Burgundy Glow Ajuga. I was hoping that it would be beautiful still in the wintertime, and that just was not the case for me. But it is starting to grow. There is new life emerging. I really hope to see beautiful pink blooms from that Burgundy Glow Ajuga. So it's planted all the way around here. And I believe I have a hosta right here as well. So that will be coming up. Another type of ground cover that I have implemented is this variegated vinca. It is the ground cover variety, and it is also supposed to be evergreen in zone 8. It kind of was, again, the polar vortex kind of fried a lot of the leaves. You can see this is the vinca. A lot of this too is the vitex leaves that I left. So these are leaves from the vitex that I just left as ground cover, but it is popping up everywhere. I tell you, variegated vinca potentially could be invasive if you're not careful. This could take over my whole garden this year, I feel like it if I'm not careful, but it is beautiful. It's popping up everywhere. I do like the little pops, and again, I'm hoping for some beautiful blue flowers in the springtime as well. So coming around to my endless summer hydrangea. This is Hydrangea Macropa, and it has been planted in the ground 5 or 6 years now. Look how tall it is. So almost as tall as that Sunshine Lustrum, and I would say that that's at least 4 feet tall. And so it is also coming to life, and I'm a little worried about this new growth as well. So Hydrangea Macropa is the type of hydrangea. Well, okay. Normal Hydrangea Macropa is going to bloom on old wood. So you do not want to prune all of these old stems, because all of these new buds are going to create flowers for you from the old growth. Okay, this is an endless summer variety, so I also have new growth. If you can see down here, I have some new growth coming down there, and so all of the new growth can bloom as well. It'll bloom on old and new growth. So that's the beauty of endless summer Hydrangea Macropa, but you still want those old blooms. So you do not want to prune this, and you kind of don't want a severe freeze to happen right after the new growth starts to emerge. So I may cover this plant and my other one tonight as well. So it's beautiful though, and then we've got the vinca growing underneath it, which does amazingly well. So love it. I do have these 2 planters planted in the sun. They are completely bare right now. I'm waiting for all of the summer annuals to come out, and I'm planning, if you would like to see what I am planning for all of my containers for the fall, then feel free to watch. I just posted a video a week ago about what I'm planning for the 3-tier planters, for these planters, for my front border, and for these containers. So lots of ideas and inspiration there. My color scheme is there, so please check it out. Again, that's my Limelight Hydrangea Standard. This is my other endless summer hydrangea. I need to go in here, and I am going to be pruning, but I'm going to do a video on it. I'm not going to be doing any pruning of old wood that's alive, etc., because again, I'm going to get blooms coming up from these beautiful little shoots. They will bloom for me. I don't want to cut any part of that, but I am going to be getting rid of the ones that are dead. So for instance, this one right here is completely dead. You could see the difference between the one that's bringing life and the one that is not. So those need to go away, as well as these like spindly guys. Anything that's, crossing over and creating issues needs to get pruned off. So I'm going to be doing that pretty soon. I do have these planters that have English ivy growing up that trellis. Look at the sun coming in and shining on them. They're so pretty. They truly were evergreen. So, potentially this could be a better evergreen ground cover. I just don't want it to completely take over, because this is English ivy. So it would be some maintenance on trying to get that in check. But it truly was evergreen. They also prefer the shade. And I've got another one here that is growing up this trellis. This guy keeps coming off. Okay. I've got to all right. I had a dianthus in there as well. And then I have a variegated hydrangea here that is starting to come to life as well. Let me see this new growth. Look at that. New growth down there. So excited for this. I still haven't seen this hydrangea bloom. Let me see. Okay, so I do have, I've only had this. This is technically my third season with it, but this is only my second spring with it. And last year, I don't believe I had any old growth on the stems. Something killed, I guess, the stems back last year. So all of this that you see is new growth from the base. And so that's why I didn't get to see it flower last year, in my opinion. I don't think I had any of this old growth. And then the new growth did not bloom for me, potentially because it was such a hot summer. So I'm really, really hoping that I get to see some blooms on this plant. It gets the absolute perfect environment. It gets morning sun, afternoon shade. We're in the morning now, so it is getting the sun that it needs right now. But super excited. I'm really hoping to see blooms. Cross your fingers. Just really quick, I have changed things up a little bit in my entrance. I got some garden urns for free, and they were kind of in rough shape. I painted them with black gloss spray paint, and they look so much better. So those are empty, waiting for new annuals. There's the other one. Isn't that beautiful? It was in rough shape, but a new coat of paint, and it looks brand new. It's awesome. I also have a fountain right here that is currently not working. Again, I got that for free on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to be troubleshooting it because the pump works, the fountain doesn't. I don't know. My husband has to kind of figure that out for me. I've got this cute little bench that's sitting here. And then, do you remember that I had Gomphrena? This is salmon pastel Gomphrena that I had in 2 containers in my backyard and 1 plant in my front yard. I saved the blooms, or as many as I could. It was actually a lot of work, to be quite honest. And then the intent was to cut off those blooms, and they make perfect dried flowers. And so I saved those, and I bought this wreath form, and I made a wreath out of it. And it turned out I only had enough for, what is that? Maybe 55% of the wreath, which I thought actually looks great because the wreath form is so beautiful in itself and has like a very similar color palette. So I just left it there. And then I did honestly have some blank spaces here, but I filled that in with some Dollar Tree moss. Yes, I got it at the Dollar Tree. This is 2 packages, so $2.50 worth of moss. And I forget how much the wreath form was, but I think I may have spent $15 on the wreath form. And there you have it, a beautiful dried flower wreath that I just hung up right there. I think it looks good there. A nice little addition as you walk in to the front door. And of course I have my welcome thing on the front door already anyway. So, well, there you have it. There is my front garden tour for February 2024. I'm just absolutely loving. This is something that I had planned. You know, I planned this front garden out to how it would look in the springtime, and we're getting close. And it's just absolutely pretty much the way that I wanted it to look. If I had to do over again, I probably would have done even more of the pink tulips. I think, you know, I did space them, I spaced them out maybe 6 inches apart. 3 to 6 inches apart is how they're spaced. There you go. But I would have like doubled it up and just thrown them in there. I think that's what I might do next time because they're beautiful, but I could have even done more. And same thing with the daffodils. I definitely could have done more daffodils, but I do love the way that it turned out. I love the way the front yard is looking. Thank you all so much for watching. Can't wait for March and for the growing season of 2024. It's going to be amazing. So please subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when those videos come out. Bye-bye, everybody.